Hey guys, this is Ray from YouHookah, bringing you another product review. In this video, I'm going to show you the Nuvo Atom Hookah Stem. The Nuvo Atom is made in the USA, and I think it's a high quality stem. This is actually machined from a solid cylinder of aluminum, and I think they've done a really good job on the design. It has a simple and elegant design, and it also, I think, has a really good job in the machining. So when I got this, I looked at it up close. I really found no imperfections in the metal or no machine marks. I think they did a really good job with the construction of the stem. And the Nuvo Atom is really heavy. That was the first thing I noticed when I grabbed this, is just how heavy this hookah is. I weighed it and it weighs in just shy of 2 pounds, which is very heavy for a hookah of this size. The hookah itself is 15.5 inches, the down stem sticks out 7 inches, and the top of the stem is 8.5 inches. So overall, you got 15.5 inches, which after using this for 7 to 8 weeks, I think is the ideal size for a tabletop hookah. You can also use it as a travel size hookah. One thing to point out is that it is so heavy, so you may not like that for a travel size hookah, but if you don't mind carrying that extra weight, then you can definitely take this with you on the go. The Nuvo Atom is available in 8 colors. I got the silver color, which is essentially just that bare aluminum metal, and I really like how that looks, but if you want to get a different color, it is available in 7 other colors, and I've seen some pictures of the other Nuvo Atoms, and I think they look really great. So this is what you get when you get the Nuvo Atom. It's just a stem. You really don't get anything else with it. That includes a tray. It does not come with a tray. Some people may not care that it doesn't come with a tray. For some people, it might be a deal breaker. So it's just something to keep in mind when you buy this hookah. If this is your first hookah, you definitely have to get a tray with it. That shouldn't be a problem, because pretty much anybody that carries this is also gonna have some trays available. And there's a lot of trays out there, so that shouldn't be a problem finding one. And if this is your second or third hookah, or if you just have a whole collection of hookahs and you're just adding this to your collection, then it shouldn't be a problem either, because you can probably just take a tray from any one of your other hookahs and pop it on here and you'll be good to go. So just something to keep in mind. If you're buying this, make sure to get a tray with it. One thing I really like about the Nuvo Atom is that it breaks off into 3 pieces, and that makes it really easy to clean in the sink. So this bottom down stem unscrews, and it has really good threading on the screw, so it doesn't feel like we'll ever get any cross threading, and you won't have any issues with that. So this down stem comes off. This top piece also comes off. And unlike some other hookahs where you can break off the top part of the stem, this one you do need to have that top part in order to use it. Some other hookahs you could actually make the hookah shorter in height by breaking apart the pieces. You can't do that with the Nuvo Atom, but you can break it apart into 3 main pieces, and that allows you to really clean it very easily in the sink. I'm not sure if the Nuvo Atom is marketed to have any special space grade materials that prevent ghosting or anything like that, but that doesn't really matter to me because it is so easy to clean. I was actually smoking Trifecta Morning Glory the other day with the Nuvo Atom, and I did get some ghosting. Morning Glory is a very pungent flavor. It almost always leaves ghosting in everything you smoke it with. And I had no issues with it because I just disassembled it, cleaned it in the sink, put it back together, and it was good to go. So I really like that that breaks apart into 3 pieces. Unlike traditional hookah designs that have a hose port that stick out, the Nuvo Atom just has a hole in the stem. And you really need to get the right grommet in order for this to work correctly. So when I first got the Nuvo Atom, I didn't have the right grommet, and I was kind of just using some of my Egyptian grommets. I had a lot of difficulty keeping the hose in place throughout my sessions. Just kept having the hose fall out if I moved the hose a little bit too much. I thought that was an issue with the stem, but after getting the right grommet, I had no issues with it after that. So you need to get a grommet that looks like this. I got this from 5 Star Hookah. I think they call this a mod grommet. And once you get the right grommet, you're not gonna have any issues with the hose falling out at all. So if you don't have this grommet, make sure to get this grommet if you do get the Nuvo Atom. And the purge on the Nuvo Atom is really good. There's 8 holes on this and it has an excellent purge. Really, when you blow into this, you're just gonna clear it out very easily. One thing I did not like about the Nuvo Atom is that the ball, the purge ball that it comes with, is not aluminum and it rusts. So if you look at the ball up close, right next to the Nuvo Atom, you'll see that this is a different color. That's because it's all rusted. And that's common with a lot of hookahs. I actually have a lot of Egyptian hookahs that all have these balls rusted. And it really doesn't affect the performance of the hookah or anything like that. But it's just something that would have been nicer to have if it did not rust. I do have some other stems that came with some balls that I think are aluminum because they haven't rusted. So just something I wanted to point out about the ball on this hookah. And one thing I noticed about it is when I got it, I had some difficulty fitting it on some of my bases. I did try it with a bunch of different bases and it did fit on all the bases I had, but it did seem to be a bit tight. I measured this and the diameter of this is 1.56 inches. So just something to keep in mind. Maybe you want to measure your bases you have if you're going to use that with an existing base. But I got a different base for it. I got a Hookah medium jumbo base, which looks like this from 5-Star Hookah. This is a very economical base. It was actually 25 bucks. And it fits perfectly with that base. I had 5-Star Hookah test it out for me and measure it and just make sure that it would fit before I got it. And they were nice enough to do that. And once I got that base, I just had no issues with it at all. It fits perfectly with that base. As far as the grommet for the bottom, the part that actually goes into the base, I found this to be the best type of grommet. This is just a silicone grommet. A lot of vendors have it. I tried some other rubber grommets that that I had with my other Egyptian hookahs and Starbuzz hookahs and all that. And that grommet, or those grommets, seem to be too thick. But this grommet is the perfect grommet for this kind of stem. So as you see, the Nuvo Atom smokes like a champ. I really like how this hookah performs. It has that wide open draw, so you're not going to have any restriction at all when you're smoking with the Nuvo Atom. I have a Heba diffuser loaded on the bottom, and the down stem on the Nuvo Atom is very wide, so I did have to cut open the top of my Heba diffuser just to get it fitted. But once I did that, it fit really well, and I haven't had any issues since I did that. So if you want to use it with a Heba diffuser or any other diffuser, you shouldn't really have any issues with it. I really like the size of this hookah. I think it's the perfect size stem if you want a tabletop hookah. And I found myself in a lot of situations where it became ideal to have a hookah of this size. One example of that is when I'm on my desk, on my computer. Sometimes I like having a hookah next to me. I found the Nuvo Atom to be a great hookah for that, just because it doesn't sit that tall off my table and I'm able to rotate my coals easily because of its height. I also really like the fact that the Nuvo Atom splits up into 3 pieces. That makes it absolutely easy to clean in the sink. Some of my other hookahs are really tall, you can't break them up, and they become a bit awkward to clean in the sink just because of their length. But the Nuvo Atom, because it's able to divide into 3 pieces, it becomes a breeze when it comes to cleaning. I think it's very important to clean your hookah as frequently as possible because that's going to allow you to have a clean session so you can enjoy whatever flavor you're smoking. There's really only 2 things I don't like about the Nuvo Atom. As I mentioned earlier, the purge valve ball does rust. It isn't made of the same material as the hookah itself. That's not a big deal. I mean, a lot of hookahs do have that problem, so it's not something that is uncommon, but it is something I wanted to point out. Another thing I didn't like is the fact that it didn't come with a tray. I think every stem you buy should come with a tray, but both of those aren't really deal breakers for me. The Nuvo Atom is priced at $130 on 5starhookah.com. At first, that might seem like it's priced a little bit high, especially considering it doesn't have a tray. But you have to remember, this is a hookah made in the USA. It's well built, it's machined beautifully, and it performs really great. It's just a solid piece of aluminum, and it weighs a lot. I mean, it feels like such a solid hookah that won't ever break. And even though it's really heavy, it doesn't make it top heavy because it's really not that tall. So even though this top piece is 2 pounds, really have no feeling that this is gonna tip over or anything like that because it's top heavy. It's just size pretty much on point with what a tabletop hookah should be. If you want to pick up this hookah, you can get the Nuvo Atom with this tray on 5-Star Hookah. This is the Mystic Phantom tray. It's available in a bunch of colors. This tray is $35, and I got this Sheikah medium jumbo base for $25, also on 5-Star Hookah. So all three of these items are just under $200. You can't beat that because a lot of hookahs just on their own, just the stem, are priced at $200. So you can get all three of these for under $200. So I think it's priced pretty good considering that. I think it smokes really great. I've been enjoying this hookah for the last 2 months. You may have seen it in some of my reviews. I think it performs absolutely wonderful. It's well built, looks nice. Really like the design of it. It's simple. I got the silver color. There are some other colors available, so if you don't like the silver color, you may like some of the others. As always, if you have the Nuvo Atom, let me know what you think and let everybody else know what you think by leaving a review on YouHookah.com. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe.